Chiropractors, if you're spending money on ads and still hearing your leads stink from your front desk, this is for you. In this video, I'm going to show you a real client CRM, actual messages, actual timestamps, and walk you through how much money is getting lit on fire just because of how your front desk thinks about leads. Then I'll share with you the simple strategy you or your team should be doing to avoid this, and a simple AI chatbot you can set up if you don't have the team to respond to leads. If you're paying for ads and still blaming bad leads, this is going to sting a little bit, but it'll also show you exactly what to fix this week. Here's what most chiros do with leads and why it breaks. Let's jump in. So let's actually jump straight into an account, and I want to show you how some of this stuff looks. And I really think it all boils down to how leads are perceived in your practice. And so if you or your front desk staff is thinking, oh my gosh, another lead, this is another 5 minutes out of my day, possibly a tire kicker, or on the other side, this is somebody who is possibly in pain in my area who needs my help, and we are the solution. And from a business standpoint, this is money, thousands of dollars to be made when you think about lifetime value. And so just having that right mindset is number one. Number two, if you jump in here, I had to obviously blur out a lot, and I have some better examples after this, but I wanted to show you this view. This is the conversation view of most CRMs. And it's nice to have a lot of unread messages. This means that there's a lot of people interested, but you also want to keep this as your sort of to-do list. And so I'll get into that in a second here, but you always want to keep that unread column clean, and it should only have messages in there that are very recent. So in this first example, the representative actually replied to what times do you have available. They replied very quickly. I have a tool where I can edit out the text here. So anytime there was a phone number, I just edit that out. So keep that in mind. But here's what I don't like here is, although they replied quickly, instead of replying and helping somebody out who's very interested right now, they said, call Tammy tomorrow. Here's the phone number. Basically saying, like, you deal with it, like, balls in your court if you want. That's not how you want to be treated. And so put yourself in their shoes of someone who signs up, texts, and is interested and ready to go and ready to finally get out of pain. And then someone replies with, hey, just call this number and we'll see what we can do. It's very off-putting. Not to mention they clearly prefer text and you're moving them to a different channel. So a lot of things wrong here. And then they just kind of left it at that, just if I'm them, I'm going to the competitor. I'm going to the neighbor down the street. Okay, here's another one. This person replied via email, but also replied with something very similar via text. So I just wanted to show you. Good evening. I am a chronic pain sufferer with neck pain. Would I benefit from any treatments? This is another thing. They sent that in the evening. They didn't get a reply. Maybe the office was closed at that time, but then they replied the next morning and again, just said, give Tammy a call, see if we can help. Again, so off-putting, and just like you lack care and concern that you want to actually help these people. And so this individual said, you know what, I'll wait because I have this other appointment. We can imagine how this might have gone differently if they responded with, oh, so sorry to hear about your chronic pain. like, what are you dealing with? I'm confident this can help, but I want to understand what you're dealing with. They respond, oh, really? How's that affecting your day-to-day, or sort of digging deep a little bit about what they've tried in the past, those types of things. Then you want to get them excited that your practice is the solution and get them scheduled. But just like, hey, call Tammy to see if we can help is crazy. Again, I'm going to the other provider down the street. Those are the two of the worst. And then these other two aren't as bad, but just some tips here. This person said, I'll be in touch, thanks. And there was no response from the practice. You could always try to convert that lead or hey, what about just coming in and checking us out? There's some conversation you can have. At the very least, you can actually respond to the patient and say something courteous like, we're always here to help, something like that. But most importantly, you'll want to set a reminder to follow up with this patient. If you're not using AI or anything like that, just set a reminder and follow up with this person in a week. They just kind of let this opportunity dwindle. These are opportunities and people in need that you're paying for. And so you really want to follow up with them. Lastly, and this represents quite a few, is, again, this person, I'm interested in an appointment. Please call me back. They gave the number, and then they said that, okay, we'll be calling from this number, which is perfect. And they said they'll answer if they can. So this isn't bad, but the thing here is us as an agency, or even if it's your front desk doing the marketing, you want to kind of keep everything in the platform. So The best thing to do would be to call from the platform. So that way there would be another line item here that says outbound call. Second best is to just leave notes, and you could leave notes here. But from the marketing agency or whoever's doing the marketing, from their standpoint, it looks like nothing was done after this. Maybe the call never happened. Based on how this practice performs, typically it's possible that the call never happened, but you always want to be very proactive in here. That goes also with the opportunity board. You want to move and update the opportunities, and I'll tell you why. It'll show you return on investment, and it will also help the marketing because, at least for us, we feed that data back into the advertising platforms and let them know which patients are the ones converting. Go find me more of those. So it's not just like hey, we can show off our numbers that we're doing. It actually helps you guys out if you update that. Usually your marketing company will benefit in some sort, and you'll benefit as well. So I shared that I would give you just some super simple tips on how to be way more proactive than some of these practices that are literally burning money. And so the simplest thing is if you have staff or you or your front desk, if you can obviously download the app of whatever marketing platform you're using and be able to respond to leads immediately, that's the best. Obviously, there's the automated sequences that will handle some of the text and whatnot. But if there's a text that comes back, you want to reply to that immediately. If the phone rings, you want to answer it. It's crazy that I need to say that. But so if you have someone that can be proactive and be immediate, that's number one. Number two is if you or your staff is busy, then just setting aside 2 10-minute blocks a day, if that's your break or whatever, instead of scrolling social media, just scroll the leads and reply to the leads when you can, call them back, etc. Leave notes, leave voicemails. If you could just kind of block off 2 times a day, that's killer. So 20 minutes a day is very, very minimal. You should be able to handle that. Another option is if you guys are busy or you're doing other tasks, you can always implement AI. Here's a very simple AI bot that we are using for some of our clinics. This one's for SoftWave. We used to have one more step here to get them a little bit more excited and let them know that this is for them. But just to kind of give you a visual representation of how this works is as soon as the lead fills out the form, they come in and they get entered into this flow. And we ask them, AI bot asks them, what kind of issues or symptoms they're dealing with. And then once we get that response, we immediately just say, sorry, you're dealing with that. Here's how SoftWave can help. And it really gets them excited and lets them know that this is the place for them. This is the solution to their issues. Often in some of our other bots for other clients, we have an extra step here to sort of dig a little bit deeper and find out how that's affecting their lives or what they've tried in the past. But we found that in some areas, too many questions before just simply booking kind of diminished returns a little bit. So, you can play with that. This is just very simple. I wanted to show one of our more simple ones. We do have it so that if they ever just say like, hey, I just want to schedule an appointment, we allow them to it'll detect that and jump straight into booking. Obviously, if they're upset, it'll stop. But the main goal here is, hey, what are you dealing with? Okay, cool. We can help. This is how it works. Let's get you scheduled. And so this does the scheduling naturally. It doesn't send a link. It asks them some of the times. Hey, here's some of the slots we have open. Does that work? So it's very conversational booking. There's plenty of platforms like this. Obviously, we can help set up an AI bot for you. But I just wanted to share with you sort of a when all else fails and you don't have the front desk or the staff to handle the leads. So hopefully that information helped, kind of gave you some techniques on how to not burn money when you're advertising and generating leads. Of course, if this is something that you or your practice needs help with, we are always available at Automated Practice, and I'm sure there's a link below in the video. Thanks for watching.